Do you know what I want at this point? If
really,
this is terrible and they want James Gunn to go, I want Paramount to step in, pick up the phone, and call Joseph Kosinski and say, "Would you like to make a $50 million Batman movie?"
Maybe.
You know what? I'll bet that's a hell of a movie. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Visually Stunning Movie Podcast. I am Mark. That's Ryan over there. Hey Ryan, what's up?
Hey, not much. How you doing?
Not too bad. So we did not screen Supergirl.
No, and I think that's bizarre.
Normally I would agree with you, except for what we're going to talk about. But no, Warner Brothers did not screen this in our market. So we both saw it on Thursday, opening Thursday. You saw it, I think, like one screening time before I did at a different theater.
Yeah. So the first screening I could get into.
Yeah. So then I saw it, and it was too late last night because I had to get up for work this morning. So now we're talking about it now. Supergirl, Millie Alcock, Eve Ridley are our two leads. Directed by Craig Gillespie, who also directed a couple of movies that I like. I, Tonya. I liked I, Tonya. Physical is an EP on Apple Plus, which we both really enjoy. What else did he direct here that I was missing that I really did like? Mike, Pam and Tommy. Oh, Pam and Tommy. There you go. Cruella, which I actually did enjoy. One of the weird Disney live actions that I enjoyed.
Yeah, my only complaint about Cruella, and actually this ended up being a really kind of unfortunately a big complaint, was I think that the songs used were all completely wrong.
That's true. I believe we were.
It's funny because in my head, and this is a little off topic, but not really. In my head, I've always thought, what if I were to go back and redo the soundtrack to that film?
Yeah,
that was more appropriate, at least as a connoisseur of that era,
right?
And of that style and of the scene that they're kind of lifting from. I've always wondered if that would make the movie that much more watchable for me. Anyway.
Yep. But yes, but unfortunately this is neither Cruella nor I, Tonya. This was written based on the material created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Siegel and Shuster, you know the names if you're a comic book fan. But the script was written by Anna Nogueira. First feature script.
Yeah.
I don't know what Hollywood's issue is right now.
Well, I don't. Yeah,
for quote unquote big movies.
Yeah, we can get into that in a minute here because I've read quite a bit of. Well, I've read about half of the main source material, which is Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, that was written kind of during the pandemic era. So it's a fairly recent take on the character, but a lot of what is in the film comes from that. So we can get to that in a minute.
Okay, so that's fair. Let's talk about this for a second. Again, Millie Alcock, House of the Dragon. Like her, don't have a problem with Millie Alcock. David Cornsweet's Superman. Go listen to our Superman episode if you want to hear about that. Eve Ridley, a new gal, plays kind of a co-lead / sidekick for Supergirl. Jason Momoa pops up, as everyone should know by now, as Lobo.
Yeah.
A couple of neat cameos. David Krumholtz is Zor-El, Kara's father, which that was just a neat little extended cameo action. And the villain, the antagonist, Matthias Schoenaerts.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to lead with this. He is way too good for this movie.
I don't know about that, but
I like him in everything I've seen him in. He's far too talented to be in this movie, or at least be in this role.
I think we're going to ultimately disagree a little bit about the film.
Okay, that's fair. Because look, you're reading the source material, and that's fine because you know how I love people that respect source material.
Yeah, but I read the source material after. So
Right.
this is so a lot of my reaction is not based upon source material.
Fair enough. I also don't mind. Okay, we'll talk about that. So Anna Nogueira wrote the script, her first feature script. I would like to point out that no matter how this discussion ends, she has also written the script for the upcoming Wonder Woman project.
Mm.
She has that credit. So, film opens. Let's not even talk about all of the garbage that has come out about this film or been said about this film. Not come out, been said about this film, and specifically its star in the lead up to the film. Because again, it's the usual suspects, and whether they're right or not is irrelevant because they're just trying to get their clicks.
Couldn't
The
care
film
less.
opens with Crypto peeing on the paper.
Yeah.
He did make it mostly on the paper, but it is unfortunately a picture of Superman on the cover. She is out celebrating her birthday week, as Clark puts it in his one of his many unanswered voice messages to her. So she's out drinking on red sun planets because that's the only way she can get drunk. She's 23. She's turned 23. That's what we're celebrating. So we're dealing with a 23-year-old Kryptonian with superpowers and a bad attitude.
And it's the first diversion from the anyway. Keep going.
Yeah, right.
It is actually.
Look, the freaking there are issues with this film. There are so many issues with this film. One, I would like to credit James Gunn for not having his name on it except as an EP. That said, totally feels like a James Gunn movie.
Yes. Absolutely.
For good or ill, your decision to make. I'll say it. Crypto is the driving force in this film.
Sort of.
No, he is. He's the prime motivator.
Yeah, sort of.
For her.
For one of the two main characters.
Yes. So Matthias Schoenaerts villain kills Eve Ridley's entire family. And so she's going out on revenge and tries to get someone to help her. Kara inadvertently gets scooped into this when Krem, the villain, steals her ship and shoots her dog.
Yeah.
And poisons him.
But she does make an active decision that kind of leads to that. So it's not that she's completely that she does, and it may be a drunken decision. But
it is drunken interference.
Yes.
But so then she's out and then she gets sucked back in.
Well, but as we all know, that's not how things work. Yeah. That's not how you don't get to choose when you're out when you're dealing with certain people. Right. They get to choose when you're out.
Yeah. So yes. So she reluctantly goes after Krem because she needs the antidote to Crypto's poison. And Crypto has 3 days to live. Again, feels like Guardians 3. Because we get lots of flashbacks and whatnot. And of course, an animal is in danger.
Yes.
There is nearly nothing in this film that I liked.
That's unfortunate.
Except for I like Matthias Schoenaerts as an actor. I like Millie Alcock as an actor. But the script, I don't know how closely it hews to the comics run. I've heard it's inspired by, but not a rendering thereof. The Woman of Tomorrow's storyline. To me, every character in this film is Eve Ridley's Ruthie. She's Revenge Girl. David Cornsweet is just playing, face on screen.
Sure.
Superman. The villain is horrid. I mean, it's so Krem is he's up there with some of the worst Marvel villains. And by worst, I mean most terrible.
when you say worst, though, to help me to understand,
He is both a terrible person
yes,
who does terrible things, and he's horribly. He just the whole thing. It's terrible design. The motivations are dumb. I mean, really, I'm shocked that. So there's two things that are going to trigger people here: animal violence
yes,
and child sex trafficking.
yes. And that second one, I do have major issues with, and we can kind of go into that.
So there, literally, I there's nothing enjoyable about this. Everyone's gonna say, "Oh, she grows so much by the end." She turned 23. She's a whiny little biatch. And she gets, but I mean, but it's just so ham-fistedly done, and everything is cribbed from something else. The script is a Frankenstein. Shots are Frankenstein. Plot beats are scenes are Frankenstein from other. It's just not. I walked out and I was like, that was pretty freaking horrible. I mean, I tweeted it, and the characters, for me, look, the characters are as two-dimensional as a comic book page, right? The script is a Frankenstein, and somehow this movie manages to make Corin Sweat's Superman look like Olivier. It's I don't know how that happens. I don't know how it just monumentally failed from beginning to end for me. You did tell me after you got out, you went, and here's your spoiler / time saver, kids. There's no credit scene.
No post credit.
I was like, good. I don't need to waste my time waiting through credits.
Yeah, there's no post credit. There's not even mid credit. There's none of that.
Nope. Once the credits start rolling, you're done. Get up, get out. I liked zero of this movie, and that is terrifying looking forward at what else James Gunn has in the pipe, which is Wonder Woman. Because you can argue that Snyder's Batman and Superman had issues. Everyone loved Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman with Gal Gadot.
Although the ending, in retrospect, is not very good.
In World 84?
No, in the original. It turns into your big super CGI monster versus so in general I agree that Wonder Woman was good, but I think it a lot of it was just seeing a Wonder Woman finally do the things that we had always wanted to see her do. I think that last act was a little messy, and I didn't hate 84 as much as you did. I
look, there was some good stuff in there, but again, it was just poorly put together.
Yeah, no, and
I don't know if it's worse that I'm saying there's like nothing in this movie that I like, or if there's movies like 84, it's like, well, I can see that there's a good story in there, and they didn't pull it off. I don't know which is worse.
Yeah,
the movie they might have given me, or the garbage they did.
Well, I will say this: the structure of Supergirl is very much similar to the actual structure of the comic
run.
Yeah, of A Woman of Tomorrow. And some of it, I flipped through it rather than reading all the way, starting, I did a flip through real quick and then started reading. But structure-wise, it's very similar in that, the real origin story comes in issue 6. And apparently it was kind of, they actually rejected the first version of whatever the sixth issue was.
Really?
And so the man, or the writer, sorry, I don't have his name right in front of me, but turned to his daughter and basically kind of got some ideas and things, and his relationship with his daughter. Right. She did inspire something in conversations. The Green Moon is hers. But a lot of was him dealing with the relationship that he had with his daughter and how, as a father and whatnot. So, yes, the structure is fairly similar. There is a difference though. Whereas Supergirl is still something of a drunk. It's not nearly emphasized in the same way, I don't think.
In the movie?
I think in the movie it's emphasized more. I think they play that element up more in the movie than they do in the comic. I think in the comic she's just kind of a typical, and in the comic she's turning 21, which is not a
Uh,
big issue, but she does make the joke that now she's legal to actually drink.
right.
Um, but and what is interesting is prior to this film, we did have a conversation about whether or not Superman can get drunk or can't get drunk, and so how can she get drunk, and et cetera, et cetera. Well,
And we
this
were right.
yes, we were right, and but this film does have a definitive answer to that. Anyway, so there, for those of you who were there for that conversation, this film does answer that. You know, um, I obviously like this a lot more than you did. I'm not going to say it was perfect. Did it feel like a James Gunn? Yes, too much, to a great extent. Um, I think the child sex trafficking was not handled in a way that it needed to be. I almost don't know why it's in the film. I think you can get around it. Um,
It's really a non-factor.
well, it needs to be a factor if you're going to have it in your film.
Yes, but
But you're right.
it's
But
a
as it is,
non-factor.
it's an afterthought. Even it's an afterthought even to Supergirl,
Yeah.
which is extremely problematic to me, and probably the biggest sin for me that the film uh, that it commits. Because if you're going to include something like child sex trafficking, a that's a very horrible, dangerous, awful thing.
Yes.
And it's never really presented that way. It's almost as if they had the idea, they put it in, and then decided they wanted to skirt around what that means.
Yep.
Like they decided that they were going to make sure that that part of the script was PG rated so they didn't get an R rating.
Right.
And I think that's absolutely the wrong way to go about it. And um, it's almost enough to make, for me, the film unforgivable, but not quite. Um, I think probably the best move for them is to decide how dark they're willing to go, knowing that they don't want to go too dark. But if you're going to introduce something as dark as child sex trafficking, you've got to step up.
Right.
That in and of itself takes the film to a place that if you're not comfortable going there,
Don't go there.
don't go there. Now the ending of the film, some people might find a little shocking, because there is much ado about people
Bad.
doing certain things.
People, well,
Um,
you know what? Zack Snyder caught no end of crap.
that's correct, and I will say it is in the book or in the comic, so it is in the source material. So anyone who wants to talk about it betraying source material hasn't read the
And I'll
source
be
material.
honest, I was watching that and in my head I was like, she's going to.
Yeah,
There was in my head there was I was like 99% certain that was going to happen.
yeah. Well, and I think there are reasons, that are explored in the film. How well they're explored is questionable, but there are reasons to why she's going to do something that maybe she would not allow other people to do, or other people would not do. And it's kind of a character defining moment, the kind of character defining moment that Zack Snyder probably couldn't have in this film because everyone was willing to go to certain lengths.
Right.
There was no nuance in how far characters would go to get something done in Zack Snyder's universe.
Well,
One of his many mistakes, probably.
Superman actually, he had issues.
Yes, but not. I think. I think that
If
was the.
anything, his is more forgivable because his act was in the moment and hers was deliberate.
Yeah, but I think there's a character differential here. I think that is within the bounds of her character. And you may be right. I'm not saying that
Well,
that.
I don't mind that she did it. Again,
Yeah,
don't I was absolutely certain she was. But I'm
yeah,
saying
yeah.
if you're going to argue against one, you have to argue against the other. But if you want to break it down, his is a lot more forgivable.
And I wouldn't argue against either. My only thing that I would argue regarding the Zack Snyder universe is that there was no levels to what that there was no distinction necessarily,
No, not really.
because in this it makes sense for the character. it's shocking, but it makes sense for the character. In Zack Snyder's world, it would just be what every other character does.
Right.
So I think there is a distinction there. But I do think that trying to make this feel like a James Gunn film is problematic. You want to match tone to a certain extent, but you don't have to copy it.
Yeah.
And I think that's yeah, it's hard to this feels like James Gunn was all over it. Um, and almost to the extent that like the rumors of Steven Spielberg and Poltergeist, or the actual documented George Lucas and Return of the Jedi, where they were more of a
Much more
guiding
hands-on.
hand, yes, than suggested. Now, in this day and age, that could be that he just sat in on the editing and did a lot of that sort of decision making. I don't know, but
Oh, I
it,
guarantee you he worked on the script.
it would make me nervous as a director going into the DC universe, that I would have the autonomy that has been suggested, but that's neither here nor there.
Right.
For me, this film was fairly enjoyable, uneven, I, but I obviously liked it more than you did.
Oh yeah.
I didn't have a lot of. I think some of the costume decisions are a little weird. I didn't necessarily like the glued on uh, silver balls on a particular alien, or
Yeah.
and stuff. There's certain things that didn't cinematically hold up for me
Right.
necessarily. Um, there is a lot of tropes in this. There's not as many risks as you would think that they maybe could be taking. Supergirl is what I would consider a second level character.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's where Marvel or DC should be pushing envelopes a bit more. If that means they need to make those films for a slightly lower budget, so be it. That's fine.
Yep.
But that's where you should be allowing to do a little more, I think, experimental sort of thing. Now, DC's in an interesting position in that they're coming out of a not well received,
Tentpole. Or
I
you mean
think
the Snyderverse?
Snyderverse.
Yeah.
I think Superman was fairly well received. I don't know that it was universally heralded as great, but it was seen by most as an improvement. Um, and so maybe they have to play it safe for a few, which is unfortunate if that's the case, because then you never hit your home run.
Right.
You're just going to hit singles, and if singles are good enough, great. The still from baseball, sorry.
Yeah. No worries.
But
yeah, but
no,
you can't build a universe on base hits.
no.
You have to swing. You have to swing.
And here's the thing. But let's be honest. Let's look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Hulk was a miss. Incredible. Iron Man was a grand slam to a great extent. Iron Man 2 was not. That might have been a foul ball, maybe even.
Yeah.
But we did get the introduction of Black Widow, which kind of makes that one necessary. But it wasn't. They weren't firing on all cylinders right out of the gate. They did have some misfires. But we were more forgiving there.
But between the two studios, Marvel and DC, all of these people, and Gunn's been in for the big Marvel stuff.
Yeah. And to be clear, Marvel's not in the greatest place. Yeah.
All the big mistakes have been made. Don't make them again.
Yeah.
Make a new mistake, for God's sake,
Yeah. And my complaint about the film would be it is very tropey. It is very comic booky. It is, you have the orphan child with the orphan child.
Yeah.
The bad guys are fairly typical bad guys. I don't even really know why Lobo's in this film.
No, I because he wants to be in it.
Yeah, I know, but
Gunn likes him.
But as far as the story goes, you would think that he would have something more to do.
No, it's meaningless.
He really, it's actually shocking how important or not important the character is to the story. And it is not, he is not in the original.
Not
This
in the
is
source.
something that stapled into it, and it's unfortunately kind of obvious that they stapled him into it.
I mean,
Um,
I I honestly I would have rather had a Green Lantern show up.
sure,
You
sure.
know, it
There's
doesn't have to be Hal Jordan. It doesn't have to be Guy Gardner.
no
I mean,
because there's
she's
there's
in a
a, in
whole other sector of space.
yeah, in theory there's a ton of them.
Yeah, thousands.
And so there was the idea, I guess, that they didn't want to focus on, they wanted to make this a standalone film rather than relying too much on other things or pointing too much to what comes next. And I think that's smart, but I don't think Lobo fits into that.
No,
I think it's gimmicky. Um, and it's not that the performance is necessarily bad, although I can't say that I'm a huge fan of the character. Um, Really, I at least not what I know of him. I haven't read a lot of, but particularly what's in this film, I can't say that I'm like, oh, that's a cool character.
no, not really.
At times, it felt like somebody's trying to direct a Deadpool movie,
I had the same thought.
and this is not a Deadpool movie.
No, it is not.
So, I mean, so did I enjoy it? I think yes, far more than you did. Do I have issues with it? I have a long list of issues with it. Um, and Yeah, there were moments where it's like, oh, you want to be Deadpool for PG, but you want to
Right.
be
You
Deadpool,
can't.
and that's and you want to be Guardians, and you want to be well,
And you
you
want to be
need to figure,
Superman.
and you want to be Superman, which was always the danger because how is Supergirl different than Superman? The character is,
Yeah,
but the stories are often built on the same sort of foundation of the fact that they're survivors of a destroyed planet. They have little to no one. Um, so a lot of the beats and a lot of the character are the same thing as Superman. The only difference is she's kind of a loose cannon,
yeah.
and Superman is anything but. Um, so to have these be your first two films that are essentially two variations of one character, I think is problematic.
And let's talk about that for a second, because this movie doubles down on one of the things that people, generally speaking, hated about Superman, and that is the Superman as conqueror.
Sure.
And it turns out wasn't a secret on Krypton what his parents were trying to do.
No, not particularly.
That's
They
exposed in
they
the flashback.
yeah, they yeah.
It's like, so Gunn is going to commit to this,
Well, I mean, yeah,
because no, that's something that doesn't get through to Final Cut without his say so.
no.
That's a
No,
universe
this
moment.
is sure. And her parents are slightly different in that they say go be good and do help people who can't be helped.
Right.
So they establish that she's different origin wise than that. But I think what Gunn is trying to do with Superman is suggest that he's not aware of that and that is not who he is. And
Well,
when he becomes
nurture.
aware,
It's not even nurture over nature.
yeah, and
It's
when
just
he
how are
becomes
you raised?
when he becomes aware of that, it's not who he is, and he knows
Right.
that. Now, are they setting up something 4 films down? I don't know.
The red
Does it need to be
kryptonite that
addressed?
makes
I don't
actual
know.
evil.
Yeah, I mean,
You
well,
throw back to that one.
yeah, I don't know. It's I don't well, and here again, I don't know what Gunn is planning on doing with his universe. I don't know what Gunn's going to be allowed to do with his universe now that
Thank you. I was waiting.
Warner Brothers no longer is its own being, and Paramount, while currently it sounds like they're all good and nice and buddy buddy about what Gunn's doing.
Not after this weekend.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. But and the thing is I have a lot of sympathy for people who are now at CBS, who were at Paramount, who were at Warner, who all these things,
Yeah.
because you're going under a regime that clearly cannot keep their hands out of the pies.
Yep.
And that's not good artistically, regardless of which side of the fence you may be on. Um, so we'll see. All is well at the moment, but and you're right. Maybe the box office changes that, and the narrative is going to be, see, a female superhero can't carry a film, which is not true.
Do you know what I want at this point? If
A
this
really,
is terrible and they want James Gunn to go, I want Paramount to step in, pick up the phone, and call Joseph Kosinski and say, "Would you like to make a $50 million Batman movie?"
maybe.
You know what? I'll bet
I
that's a
don't.
hell of a movie.
I don't. I don't. I don't think that there's a. I think budgets get talked about way too much. I think you can make a great superhero film for under $100 million.
Yes.
I think you can make Batman for 50 million, and you can make a really good Batman for 50 million.
Yep.
He may not have all the toys,
Nope.
but is that really why we like Batman?
No, Kosinski could go in and make an almost Daredevil-esque Batman.
Well, he already is
Street level. Oh no, street level.
Yeah, in the movies, maybe not so much, but the character himself.
Yeah, he's Daredevil. I mean, yeah, it's the
Except
same thing.
He's a vigilante sort of. I mean, he's not blind, obviously. He's rich and he has toys, but not the toys were never like the whole thing. You can just give him like a grappling hook, a batarang or whatever, and
some guns because
some guns, and that's fine, and that's it. That's all we.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
we could get Tom Cruise to play Alfred.
Did you?
No, just you laugh. Now think.
No, sure, why not? Why not?
Oh, he'd do it.
I'm not opposed to that. That's not. He's not British, but
doesn't have to be.
No, he doesn't necessarily have to be. He just has to have that old world mentality. Sure.
Yes.
Which, please, Alfred needs the old world mentality. Don't try to change that.
Yeah, don't modernize him.
There are certain aspects of things that work because
they are what they are.
Yes. So Alfred should not ever be a free swinging whatever.
No,
he needs to be
cool.
No. He can try if he wants and fail miserably, but he can't succeed at that.
He can succeed badly.
Yeah, well, something.
Performed successfully.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyway, so yeah, I have a lot of issues with Supergirl, but I don't see it as derailing as you do.
I think it is. I think it's a terrible film, and I think it's a train wreck for Gunn's universe. And I think the ramifications from this are real, and I believe soon to arrive.
I believe, and I think that for as good as James Gunn has been, again, I go back to the decision of doing Superman and Supergirl as your first two films. I think that's a big mistake.
Yeah.
Superman, yes. Supergirl, not so much.
No.
You can...
that's third. You go Batman, you go...
Maybe, yeah. Well, I almost think it's fourth. Or it's...
But it's definitely not second batter in the line.
No, because it's too much of the same thing.
Yeah.
Even no matter how much you change it, their superpowers are pretty much the same thing. Their personalities are radically different. But as far as a person just looking at the trailers or looking at highlights from both films, they would not be like, "Oh, those are radically different films." No. It would be, "Oh, look, it's family members who have the same power." Right. Or whatnot. It needed to either be a Batman film, maybe it needed to be the Wonder Woman film, maybe it needed to be the Green Lantern film. I don't know, but it needed to be something that was different. And and that's even before the film even comes out and needs some polishing.
Yeah. I mean, I said it when Gunn took over. I was like, I think Gunn's the guy you bring in. He's going to make you that wacky, nearly standalone, possibly tied into your other universe movies that surprisingly makes a lot of money. He's almost Whedon-esque without the tent pole aspect.
Well, he probably is too quirky.
Right. But that's the guy. You don't hire him to run your universe. You can't build that universe.
I think he's better than Snyder, but I don't think you're far wrong. I think
I
that he was hired because of his success
in Marvel, and
in
DC was still
Marvel,
chasing that. DC's
and
still chasing that.
and he occupied a corner of that Marvel universe, not necessarily the
Yeah.
main space.
Yes.
Um, so yes, maybe Jim Lee needs to step in a bit more.
Possibly.
Uh, someone who is in house, who is overseeing other things, who is overseeing a universe that is more diverse so far than what we've seen from the two gun film. Well,
Right.
okay, the gun and the not gun, but gun
Right.
film. Yeah, I don't know. I still think people should see it. I don't think it's as bad as you think, but I don't think it's as good as it should be or needs to be. And if it does fail, I do think quality is a legitimate concern. I think the story is good. The execution of it, not nearly as is needed to be.
Sure. I will I will leave it
And
at
as
that.
far as the script goes, I think yes, it was made worse than the source material. I think I am comfortable in saying that. And so if no matter how good the source material is for Wonder Woman, we do need to be at least a little bit worried.
Yeah. So if that's because are we gonna get Supergirl 2.0, or are they now going to be retooling to but again, the last time DC retooled a movie to respond to something else,
It
we
was
got the
horrible.
first Suicide Squad.
Yeah, it was not. Maybe it was better than what we would have gotten, but it was still horrible. And it
Yeah.
was because they tried to turn it into Guardians when it never was intended to be Guardians,
Yeah.
and that was just a debacle. That goes down in the history of debacles.
The meddling gold
Yeah.
medal.
I wonder if a female director for this would have been better.
Well, I feel
In the
a
sense,
lot of the themes they were pushing might have been handled differently by a female director.
I think a female, and I could be wrong, but I think a woman director takes the sex trafficking a little differently, and maybe that's me. Just I am really bothered by the way the sex trafficking is used in the film. I think that you can say that Fury Road didn't do it a hell of a lot better, but it did it better in the sense that Furiosa was a member of that, and one of her main, she was one of the brides to be, so to speak.
She would have been, yes.
She would have been, and one of her driving forces in that film was to save them.
Yes.
Whereas in this film, Supergirl seems to have little to no driving force to save them. That driving
she
force
forgets
comes
about them until she's reminded at the end.
reminded by someone, and so I think that in and in itself is terrible.
Yep.
Or as Charles Barkley says, terrible.
It's terrible.
It's very terrible.
Yes.
And it is. And it's almost it just, and the distinction for me again between Fury Road and this is that it is a priority to the character.
Yeah.
You can argue that they're both comic booky in the way that they're presented, and not maybe near, although I think Fury Road, there's a definite more danger that is felt than is in this film. But I also think that's because he's working in R-rated territory, and this film isn't. Again, though, if you're going to go there, and don't give me the watered down garbage that they did kind of give us in this
because
one.
we've proven that R-rated superhero movies can work.
Yes,
depending on what you're doing with them.
But this film, I don't think was ever intended to go to R-rated. So if it's not intended to be R-rated, don't go there.
Right.
Don't, if you're not gonna do it right, don't go there. And that would be, again, you could edit that out of this film, and it doesn't change very much.
Nope.
If anything.
No, it really doesn't.
So, and again, that's problematic. Yep. If I can edit things out of your film, whole scenes and sequences and subplots, and they don't change the main narrative, they don't belong there in the first place.
Correct. There you go. There you go.
And
so
that's when you add on to a source material that didn't need to be added onto.
Yep. That is Supergirl. PG-13, 1 hour, 47 minutes, not even 2 hours long. Budget, big. Box office return, TBD, but yeah, its problems are entirely self-inflicted.
Yes.
Both internal to the movie and external to the movie. Because there have been things outside the movie that are going to affect how this movie does at the box office.
Well, and I don't pay any attention to that.
I'm aware of them, and they have an impact. I do not believe
No,
that
they
review
do. They
bombing
do.
can take your movie to 20%. I think that is a I believe review bombing happens.
Oh, it absolutely
but there's
does.
no way it can take a movie to 20%. If your movie's at 20,
I
at
don't
best, without the review bombing, that movie's at a 40.
I see. I think you could actually be a 50 or 60 and still be knocked down to 20, but it depends on, again, here, let's use a sports metaphor, or
Sure.
not a metaphor, an example. And I'm a baseball fan, if you can't tell, but currently the leading vote getters in the All-Star game are Canadian. Now, it's not because the Canadian players are the best players, it's because they have an entire country who is passionate, currently more passionate than ever, who are throwing their weight behind those players, regardless of if they're worth it or not. And the numbers are astounding. So I use that as an example of, yes, if you're a dedicated group who is determined to twist the narrative, and I think is a dedicated group that is dead set against a lot of these films, I think you can knock a 60 down to 20.
See, and I don't know that you can have that big. You could have an impact. You can go from, to use Rotten Tomatoes, you can go from fresh to rotten. But like I said, if you're at 20, your movie is not good. No matter how many bullshit reviews people put in and ratings people put in, your movie is not is at best it's fine. At best,
well, that's what I think a 5 is.
Movie. So, but that's not what they want you to think that this movie should be a 90, not this movie. But what movie X should be a 90.
I'm not making that argument.
Bombers.
I'm not making that argument. My argument is that this would be a 5 or a 6, rather than a 2.
I might accept that this particular movie might be a 5 or 6. I don't know what the ratings are right now.
I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea. But that's my feeling is this is a 5 or a 6. And
well, I'll tell you what. According to IMDb, the Metascore is 49.
Yeah.
So that's middle of the road.
5 or 6. Yeah.
5 or 6.
5.
So, yeah. But again, so there you go. This is one we disagree on. I don't think there's really anything good in this movie. I think you see what it should have been, and I think we've reversed this thing before, where I've rated the movie hard because I'm like, man, I really liked what they were trying to do, and they were, but I just don't see it in this one at all. I can't grok.
I'm okay with that, though. I mean, because that's why we do this.
Yeah.
We agree a lot, but we don't have to. Is the point?
Nice.
Yeah. So nice. I don't, and if I thought this was a 9 or a 10, I might be,
a little bit more astounded at my.
Yeah, but I'm not. I mean, I just think that we have a lot of the same issues. It just didn't hit me in the way that it hit you.
Yeah.
And I think that, it's the things that I've raised would have hit me harder if they felt more like they were part of the film as well.
Yeah.
Whereas true. A lot of things that it's just like, why is that even here?
Yeah. So there you go. Supergirl in theaters right now. If you like my reviews, you can take my advice. If you like Ryan's reviews, you can take his advice. If you're on the fence, go see it and let us know who's right.
I was going to say, or if you're just interested in seeing it, see it and let me,
let us know.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
There you go. There you go. That's it. Supergirl. We're done. We got a couple movies to screen next week, including Minions and Monsters.
Yes.
Nice palate cleanser.
And leading right into The Invite.
which I don't think is like Minions and Monsters.
No, absolutely not.
So there you go. But yeah, so we got those coming up next weekend. We'll be talking about those for the 4th of July weekend. So yeah, there you go. Don't forget to like us, follow us on social media. Go to the website, vsmoviepodcast.com. You'll get links to most of our stuff. If we write it. If you're watching this on YouTube, click subscribe and like the video. That helps us out with the algorithmic stuff. And yeah, go see a movie in theaters. There's still good ones. There's still enjoyable ones. You might enjoy Supergirl.
And if not, you might enjoy Toy Story.
You might enjoy Toy Story. It's true. You might enjoy Toy Story. There you go. Till we talk to you again, be good. Stay safe. I'm Mark. That's Ryan. Bye, Ryan.
See ya.
We'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.